Okay, the middle class consists of three different groups in the 19th century. The upper middle class were successful industrialists and banking families. They would have multiple homes and be very comfortable in their lifestyle. The middle class would be business professionals, doctors, and lawyers. Comfortable but not excessively rich, and would have money to spend on just whatever they wanted, like the upper middle class. Lower middle class would be would have jobs such as small traders and white collar jobs. Middle class families would have fewer children. Also, middle class families would have advanced education because it was highly encouraged for people to get ahead. And leisure for the middle class, they enjoyed drinking and listening to music at music halls, and sports became popular, such as soccer and racing. Middle class women would often join feminist movements, and especially working class women often join socialist movements to gain rights in their workplace. They were also domestic servants. They tried really hard to create a good environment at their houses for both their children and their husbands. They would work really, really hard to keep up the middle class facade. And women controlled money and making decisions when concerning the home. The men were preoccupied.
Conditions in 19th century factories were poor. They were dark and the air was polluted. The conditions were dangerous, especially to the children who would sometimes work for more than 12 hours a day. The pay was low, the work was monotonous, and there were zero benefits offered. The Luddites were textile artisans who opposed the new machinery that was threatening their livelihoods. The power looms and spinning frames were going to put them out of work, as their jobs could be replaced with low-wage, less skilled laborers. They attacked whole factories in northern England in 1812, and they would smash the machines, putting them out of work. They soon realized that these violent attempts would not work and formed labor unions instead. Poorhouses were the places people lived at the government's expense. They would sometimes have to work to receive their food and lodging. It was similar to welfare like we have today. People would request help from the overseer of the poor, an elected town official, and he would decide if they needed to go to the poorhouses. Charles Dickens wrote books like Oliver Twist, a book about an orphan boy who spends time in a workhouse and then runs away to join a gang of pickpocketers. These works expose the social conditions of the time period, like the increase in illegitimate children and child labor. The Chartists were a working-class movement for political reform. They were people who demanded universal suffrage, vote by secret ballot, equal electoral districts. They wanted yearly elections and just kidding. They did not achieve their goals. The economic policies that emerged during this time period were the Mines Act of 1842, which prohibited underground work for women and girls and boys under the age of 10. There was the Factory Act of 1833, which limited factory work days for children ages 9 to 13 to 8 hours and kids of 14 to 18 to 12 hours. And then there was the Combination Acts, which outlawed unions and strikes.